'tis the season to start thinking about next season. Big changes could be coming for the Panthers in 2017. And we thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Will Kennedy. Morgan Fogarty is off, hopefully enjoying the holidays. After getting blown out by the Falcons at home on Christmas Eve and officially being eliminated from the playoff race, head coach Ron Rivera says his team will need to evolve going forward.
You know, we just got to continue to work hard and keep trying to develop and grow. And as I said, you know, you have to evolve too as well. I mean, things are going to change. After, after 6 seasons, you know, when this is all done, we'll take a look back at some things and see what we got to do as we go forward.
In his 6th season as Panthers head coach, Riverboat Ron has won an unprecedented 3 straight NFC South titles, but he hasn't had a consecutive winning seasons yet. In fact, the Panthers have never had back-to-back winning seasons in franchise history. Also a concern for Carolina moving forward, the teams have figured out Cam Newton, and the offense may be too predictable. The Panthers star QB is on pace to set career lows in completion percentage and passer rating, and through 15 games, he is tied for his career low for touchdown passes at 18 in a season. When you look at the offense as a whole this season, Carolina is 19th in yards per game and 14th in points per game. They were first, leading the league in scoring last season. That brings us to our question of the night. What's the biggest thing the Panthers need to change for 2017? Let us take it to our panel. Sports talk host and comedian QCB. He was also in Tu Wong Fu, apparently, as an extra. He's on the call up on WFNZ Sports Radio. Former Panthers offensive lineman and current host of the Block 'em Up podcast, Jeff Schwartz, who looks uncomfortable sitting next to Q right now, and WCCB sports director Brandon David, who was also trying to figure out what the heck Q was wearing.
Well, I'm paying homage. I bet, first of all, Cam Newton ain't got one of these in his closet. Man,
no?
All night, Dwight is a huge Panthers fan, and
yeah,
so
we want to see this.
I'm paying homage to the Panthers right here in the custom-made Panther robe. This is what this is. To be the man, you got to beat the man. So this is what it is. So I'm paying homage. That's what I'm doing. It's a tough season, and I'm just trying to bring a little light to,
before they close out this year. All right, so we want to talk, a lot of people are already looking towards next season. There is still a game to play for the Panthers, but analysis is already underway, drafting. What do they need to do? What do they need to do to get better? What do you think the biggest thing is?
First of all, can you take me serious and win this? I think you can. I think the Carolina Panthers, they need a makeover. I didn't want them Jenny Jones type makeovers. They need an identity makeover. They need to find who is the leaders on the team, get the defense revamped, get the secondary taken care of, the pass rush to show up to week 7 in the season. Cam Newton needs to become the leader that he's supposed to be. He's a $100 million man. He needs to be that leader. He needs to focus in the offseason, make people think he's really putting the extra work like a Peyton Manning, Drew Brees kind of quarterback would do and come out on top, man. That's what they need to revamp the whole team and get an identity crisis.
So Q goes for the easy answer rather than one thing, everything at this point.
To me, Cam Newton is the franchise. So you do everything in the offseason to make Cam Newton comfortable and get him to complete passes. The last 6 weeks, he's completed 45% of his passes, which is the lowest percentage over 6 weeks since 1991. So you have to find ways, however that's possible, whether you need a new offensive coordinator, whether you need new wide receivers, you don't need a new tight end, obviously, whether you have to bring in a new left tackle, whatever you have to do, you have to find ways to get Cam more comfortable, to him completing more passes, to get him in a rhythm of an offense. And they haven't had that this season. You can blame injuries, you can blame whatever you want, but there's times where Cam just doesn't look like himself, and I don't know what needs to change, but Coach Rivera is going to have to find out because the window is closing now, and they need to go for it. I think they made a strategic mistake this season, but not going for it when they had the chance to do so.
Brandon, you've been around him. You've been in the locker room at the press conferences. Cam's taken a lot of heat throughout this season, and he's frankly talked pretty openly about his performance the last few days.
And rightfully so. I think the biggest issue for this team is what's going on in between his ears up here, because for whatever reason, a lot of times he looks lost out there. Kelvin Benjamin may not be running the best routes, and Devin Funchess is still trying to find his ways. But for whatever reason, he's not looking like the MVP that we saw last year. Maybe was it off-season preparation? Was it him thinking, oh, I can just repeat and do it again? There are a lot of issues with him he has to correct. And if he doesn't take this off-season seriously, we might start seeing a downward trend for Cam.
I think Jeff touched on it. They left money out there, free agent money, salary cap money in this offseason, $19 million of it, and the Josh Norman thing's part of that. But when you have that opportunity, you've gone to the Super Bowl, that window is open. Don't you have to do everything you can to try to get there again?
You're supposed to capitalize on it. That's what you're supposed to do. You say, we need this guy. I don't care how much it is. We got to keep this guy intact. We need an old pro here. We need him intact. We're going to pay the guys who continue to play at a high level and get back to the Super Bowl, this time bring home a Vince Lombardi trophy. You don't go to the Super Bowl, don't win the Super Bowl, and then not sign key guys. You don't do that.
Yeah, they, for whatever reason, thought they wouldn't need Josh Norman, and they tried to rebuild the positions that are key, pass rush and corner. And for a team that's going up, supposedly going up, right? They went back down this year. You can't rebuild at certain positions. You have to go all in. Mortgage your future now because your window, is in the NFL is short. Tom Brady has only window that's been open 15 years. Everyone else has a window, that's 2 to 3 years, and they might have lost the chance to get back to Super Bowl with the way they handled this offseason.
Brady and Belichick have nailed the window open, by the way. They cannot close. Brandon, we may be looking at the last thing I saw, maybe a number 7 pick as high as that in the draft, but as Jeff just touched on, the draft with a team that has this kind of expectations may not be the way to try to fix things.
The biggest issue, or one of the biggest issues between last year and this year, is the depth. Last year, they really weren't injured that much, so they didn't have to rely on their depth. But when you have Luke Kuechly going down, when you have basically your whole offensive line going down, and you're bringing guys off the street to try to fill in and protect your star quarterback, or try to stop the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints, it's just not going to happen. And they were exposed this year. And I think a lot of that has to do with making decisions like, let's not keep Josh Norman. All the good free agents are off the market, and so let's go rely on a couple of rookies to try to get the job done. You have no depth, and that's one of the problems.
We've seen some of the younger guys get better on defense through the year. Luke will not play this last game. We hope he'll be healthy, but that's an unknown kind of going into the offseason. What's the biggest need player-wise, do you think? We'll go quickly down the line. What one position do they need the most help at?
I think cornerback. Definitely cornerback. You need a guy now who knows the game, high football IQ, knows we need to be in the secondary. I'm going cornerback.
I think a wide receiver to complement what Cam does well. KB's not number 1. They need to find someone who can stretch the field and make the dynamic plays that they don't have right now.
Defensive line, is KK Short going to come back? Who are going to be the answers there? Charles Johnson? I don't know. I think
maybe they can get somebody good at number 7. All right. Next on the edge, a woman finds nearly $15 million in her bank account. It's not hers, though. What she did next was surprising, but it's the bank's response that'll shock you more. But first, check out this touching video tweeted out tonight by the Auburn Tigers showing Cam Newton surprising a 10-year-old boy battling a severe heart condition. It was the boy's Christmas wish to meet Cam. There we go. His wish granted. The Edge is back in 2.
I'm trying to put you in the worst mood. P1 cleaner than your church shoes. Really point to just to hurt you.